Hi everyone, this is Nikki Rowland and today I have a mini album to share with you, although it's not very mini, and it's for a GoGo Getaway challenge that was set at the weekend. I solemnly swear I'm up to no good. It was a quote challenge. We do cybercrops every month. We have 4 challenges each month and they vary between sketches and mood boards, and this one of the challenges was a quote challenge, and it was set by me, and I obviously have recently been to Harry Potter Studios with my daughter, and of course that's what inspired me to set this challenge. So of course if you were playing along with the challenges you wouldn't have had to do a Harry Potter theme, and you could also do a layout rather than a mini album, yeah, you could have done anything magic themed or been inspired by the look of the quote itself with the footprints on it, or have done anything to do with people being up to mischief or pets being up to mischief. That often happens, doesn't it? So anyway, that was the challenge, and because I've recently been to Harry Potter Studios, I was keen to get my photos scrapped, and I decided to make a mini album. And of course, in true Nikki style, my mini album is not very mini, and I have about 100 photos printed to go in here. I think about 93 or 95 maybe make it into the album. Some got ditched, but the majority went in, and I've printed them all. They're all 2 inches wide by 2.5 inches tall, apart from 2 bigger ones which are for the middle of the album. So I decided to make the Marauders map. It's my favourite part of all of the films. I have a mug that is the Marauders map and has "I solemnly swear I'm up to no good" written on it, and I drink from it every day. And it's just fab. I just love it. Just the whole concept of being able to see what everyone's up to on a map. So I studied the Marauders map in the films, and I went onto YouTube and found pictures of it just to make sure I was making it correctly. We actually made one. We had to do for World Book Day not long ago, we had to do a window display because of course the children weren't at school at that time. So the village, all the children in the village made window displays of their favourite books, and we did a Harry Potter theme. So we actually made a Marauders map for that, and we just printed a printable online, and then it was folded. It was multiple pieces of paper, and we stained it with tea beforehand, and yeah, it looked really awesome. So I kind of had an idea what I was doing because I'd already made one of those. So basically it's a really huge concertina with a middle section, and it folds like a gatefold in the middle, and then you pull it apart, and then it has all kinds of foldy out pieces in the book, in the map. There's middle bits in the middle section that fold up, and there's other bits throughout the map that fold down and fold out as well. So I was inspired by all of those, and of course I've got like 100 photos to fit in, so I needed some interactive parts. So I am making the first part of the album. The first I've taken 2 sheets of Witches and Wizards by Echo Park, and I've cut it to, let me measure, I think it's 9 inches. Yeah, it's 9 inches tall. And then I've kept it at 12 inches, and then I've scored every 2 inches, and then I've done another 1/4 inch before I start the next 2-inch piece. Does that make sense? So that my concertina has wide spines, because I knew I had so many photos to fit in. I knew that if I just did a regular concertina fold, then that was not going to work. My album wouldn't close, and I didn't want to have that issue. So I basically scored 2 inches, 1/4 inch, another 2 inches, 1/4 inch, 2 inches, 1/4 inch. And initially I had intended to make my album wider than this, but my first score line was wrong, and that messed up the entire thing. So I had to go with it and work with it. So it's a bit narrower than what I had anticipated, but it works okay. I'm happy with it. I first of all decided to start off with one piece of paper on each side, and that gave me a number of folds. And then I started off with a piece of craft style cardstock for the back, and I obviously had to make the back piece double wide in the middle, and then start my concertinas, and then I ended up with an awkward bit at the end which is a bit smaller, so I'll make that work. And now I've decided that my my first piece of paper concertina is not big enough with the craft in the background. It needs another panel. So here I am making the next concertina. So basically, this is, if you're thinking in width, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sheets of cardstock wide. So what's 12 times 5? My daughter will know. What's 12 times 5, Sophie? 60 inches wide. Wow, what a book. It's absolutely huge. So it does overlap slightly in a couple of places, so maybe it's not quite 60 inches wide, but it is very close to that. Okay, so I have got black cardstock now, which I have scored, and I also have this newsprint tissue paper that actually came from Harry Potter Studios. So I bought another mug while I was there, that has... then it was wrapped in, so this is basically the wrapping that, when you buy a piece of china somewhere, they wrap it in tissue paper, don't they, to make sure that it doesn't get broken by the time you get home. Well, this is the wrapping it came in, and it's a newsprint, but it's wizard newsprint. So how awesome is that? So, and actually, the man gave me like 100 sheets of it. It's so much of it. It would barely fold around the mug. It was so thick. So I have absolutely oodles and oodles of it. I totally didn't need that much. 2 or 3 sheets probably would have been quite sufficient. But no, there's seriously a serious stack of it. So I decided to use one of those for either side of that black and cover it in that paper, in that tissue paper, so that I've got a bit. One, I've got something from the actual place that we attended, and 2, it's perfect because it's wizard news. So there you go. You can see that is, I'm just putting together now the first half of the book. So that's my little awkward bit at the middle where I had to make the 2 pieces meet. So I've got the first piece, which is the stars, and then the second piece is the black tissue paper. Then the third piece is the back, is the craft cardstock. So I'm just then attaching those 3 pieces together. So that's like half of it. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. So on the other side, I'm then going to add another piece of the black covered in the tissue, and then another piece of the pattern paper, which is the one I started off earlier, which is the yellowy coloured one with lightning strikes all over it. If I had planned this better, I would have had 2 sheets of the same, but I bought this collection like a year ago because I saw it come out, and we were just getting back into Harry Potter in this house, because I've been into Harry Potter for years, but my children have been too young until fairly recently to get into it. Anyway, my daughter got into it, I don't know, a year ago maybe. It was in lockdown, part of lockdown. So a year and a half ago, perhaps, she started reading the books. She hasn't looked back. She absolutely loves it. My son, who's only 8, he's starting reading them too. Because in this house, they're not allowed to watch the films until they've read the books. So anyway, I thought it might be a while until we got into Harry Potter in a big way. But no, it has totally captivated our household. I'm absolutely delighted because it's my favourite thing in the world. We are... I bought the collection prior, when we were just starting to get into it. Thinking if I don't buy it now, when I do want it, it will be gone. It'll be out of stock. But they have actually now brought out a Witches and Wizards. I can't say that. Witches and Wizards 2 by Echo Park. So I went to do a little bit of shopping and got some of that as well. But probably not in time for this album. I did put a few bits in last minute, but you might see them in the flip through. So that's why I'm making it with Witches and Wizards 1 and not 2, because I'd already got it in my stash. But I have since supplemented my stash with Witches and Wizards 2. You can see it all coming together here. I will stop. I'm not going to decorate this album. I didn't film decorating the album because, my God, it's taken weeks to complete because it's so huge and so interactive and there's so much going on. But once I've finished constructing the album itself, you'll see me complete that, and then we will flip over. We will switch over to a flip through of the completed album. Okay, so you can see it's pretty hard to handle because it keeps popping open. And it wants to unfold itself, which I love because, of course, that's what the Marauder's map does in Harry Potter. It kind of has a life of its own. I love it, but it is quite hard to handle. So I have to put scissors on it. There we go. You can see how it opens up like that. It's so cool, isn't it? So specifically as part of the Marauders map in the films, it has a middle section that you open out. So I'm just going to create that now. So I've got these 2 photos that I've already printed in the larger size. They're the only 2 large photos in the album, and they have to be layered on top of each other because there's not enough space for both of them. Yeah, they're about 4 by 4, slightly smaller. I had to trim them a tiny bit smaller so they would fit inside my 4-inch wide map. I'm now just trying to work out how to create the fold outs. Now, I really, I wasn't quite sure because in the Harry Potter movies, the Marauders map, the middle section isn't quite as tall as the map itself, but it's definitely not a square either. So I was just trying to work out how to do that. So there I am trying to figure that out. And I made myself a paper template first. You can see that there. I just had a go at that. And now I'm cutting craft paper to match the background, the back part of the map, I'm going to get that stuck in place. So basically that worked fine, but I have made it pretty much as tall as the album itself. However, I do change that. I'm not sure if I've changed it now or later, but actually I make it so that once closed, it's the size of a 6x4 journal card. So it's literally 4 inches wide and 6 inches tall, which means I can add a journaling card to it, cut in half, but then the 2 pieces will split as it is revealed, as the inside is revealed. So it just means my photo inside will sit on a 6x4 area instead of a square area, which doesn't sit perfectly right with me. But I can just use that to my advantage and add interesting things above and below the photo. So I'm not too concerned about that. So there it is. You can see it coming together there. I think I'm going to get that stuck in place. Now I keep having to check the concertina to make sure it's all working okay, and that and most importantly will close, because all my mini books are too fat. That happens every single time. But by having the 1/4 inch wide spine on each concertina fold, I think that will do it, and actually it does quite well. I mean, I've got the completed album in front of me now, and it is standing up a bit in the center, but it's not too bad. Right, there we go. I'm just getting those 2 pieces stuck in place now. There we go, and it all works perfectly well. Of course, when it's opened out, you can see the split in the middle of the 2 pieces, but I'll cover that up, no problem. Here are some journaling cards or some quotes that I printed onto pattern paper. It's a very pale white, it's off-white. It's actually from the Simple Stories, one of the vintage 12x12 basic kits, but it was really perfect for this kind of colour, because it's not, the stark white isn't quite right for these colours, so the slightly off-white was ideal. So I just printed a couple onto that sheet, and along with Mischief Managed, which I had planned to go on the back of the album, but I printed it too big. Actually, I made my album too small. That was the main issue. Yeah, right, I'm going to go to a flip through now. Okay, so here is a flip through of the finished album. You can see I have lots of charms here, things like spider webs and stars and spiders, bramble fox stars down here as well. Printed the quote for the quote challenge, and I've cut out some little bits, cut files of the glasses, and there's footprints inside, and the little lightning bolt there. So in order to open this map, I have to obviously, it won't open unless I tap and say, I solemnly swear I'm up to no good. So let's do that. I solemnly swear that I'm up to no good. And then it will then reveal its secrets. So, are you ready? It is absolutely huge. Okay, so we will start with this side of the book. Because it's very narrow, I wanted to have lots of different ways of holding lots of photos. So we start off here with acetate overlay and some photos there. This one here, flips up like that to reveal photos. There we go. Then I have a pocket here containing, got footprints under there, containing photos as well. And then on the back of these ones, I have journaling about each one. They're just held in place with a paperclip and are sitting in a vellum pocket. Then this one is exactly the same, just held in place with a paperclip, but it's a speech bubble paperclip. And again, I have some photos and I have journaling on the back of those. So that's them. And they go in the vellum pocket as well. Oh, if I can get them in. Okay, then we move on to this page here, which is a pocket, and this pulls out. I have journaling on this tag here, photos, more journaling, and more photos and more journaling. So that goes in there. Oh, little acetate pocket down the bottom there. Then this is just an overlay. And this is one of those kind of waterfall flip ups. My first attempt, and it doesn't work particularly well. So there we go. Okay, that's all about Quidditch. My journaling here. Then here we have this one that folds out. That was in the Marauders map in the movie. You had little panels like this. So I had to include those, of course. And here I have tags and journaling and photos. And here a little fold out booklet with more photos and journaling in there. So here for the Forbidden Forest, I've got a strip of paper there, and I have sewn there, and there. So I have 3 pockets, and then I just have these little booklets included that just kind of slot in there and just are held in place just by that piece of paper. So that's pretty cool. I really like that because it was enabling me to put a title on there without taking up too much space for my photos, because there are about 100 photos in here. Okay, so this is Riding the Train, but this is actually platform 9 3/4. So I've got journaling there, and then just my photos. And here we have actually Riding the Train, and just another flip up there. So journaling on there, and then the photos. And there is all backed with pattern papers. So then we kind of reach the middle section of the book. There we go. And here, I love this quote here. All these, the Wizarding rules, I love those. That's a journaling card, love it. And then inside here, it reveals the middle section of the map. And we have shaker pockets on either side. And then this folds open this way. I have journaling here, and then acetate overlay here with the Harry Potter symbol on, and flip up photos in there as well. Okay, so then we move on to the second section of the book. They kind of mirror each other, so that was my aim, for them to be mirrored similarly anyway, not necessarily perfectly. And then I just have photos on here, and these are my journaling. Then on here I have another flip up with all the like magical artifacts. I have another Gringotts, another panel like this, same as the Forbidden Forest, so you can see how it's kind of mirrored. And I have the little cards in here again, and they've got photos and more journaling. So there's 3 of those again, exactly the same. So this is about the Gringotts vault, and also inside the bank, and the fire-breathing dragon, who was in there as well. And then moving on over to here, to the last kind of section. It goes on forever. I have tags here. I have another open it out booklet there. That's got the night bus inside. And then here I've got, again, mirrored to what was over on this side. I have the little opening bits there, fold down pieces, and then in here another overlay with some charms,
and tags. And then I have Diagon Alley. And this is Sophie in the Ollivander's One Shop. And this waterfall card works better than the previous one. This is my second attempt. So I have some channeling up here. And then these all just pull down to reveal those. Okay. And then I have another pocket page mirrored to the other side. I have journaling on there, more photos, and journaling on the back there. And then final bit, 2 more vellum pockets as they were at the front. These photos are just loose, and these ones I have got loose as well with a paper clip, and then I've got made a little journaling card there. It's just a plain piece, so I could write about that rather than write on the back of those, because ultimately they're all of the same thing, just different angles. Okay, and then final 2 photos, and what a wonderful day. And then in order to close the booklet, or close the map, sorry, we have to say mischief managed. There we go. And then it will wipe itself and no one will be able to open it without a wand and without knowing what to say. So there we go, it just closes, folds up just like that. The ribbon pulls through and then can be retied. There you go.
So there you go, that was my totally epic Harry Potter Marauders map mini album. I hope you enjoyed that flip through and seeing all the details in there. There are a couple of photos here, but obviously it's very hard to see all the details. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the challenge if you took part, and I hope you've enjoyed seeing this mini album. That was Nikki Rowland for GoGo Getaway.